Well, are we ready? Are we ready? I think we are. I just need to fix the music for a second and then we'll get started. I just gotta fix the music and then we'll get started. I don't plan to be here for too long because I gotta take care of some other stuff, but quickly read it for you guys and then we'll head out. Just give me a few minutes. Alright, I'm just gonna have to stop the music for a second so I can change something here. Give me one moment. Alright, things are almost ready to get started. So what do you guys think? This is the new setup. How you like it? This is the new setup. It's literally fire. Yeah. Hopefully you guys like it. But we're about to get ready to start. So, quick mic check. Is the music too high? Is the what's wrong? Is everything okay? Just quick check. Oh wait, is that Takeda? Takeda's in here? Yo, shout out to the boy Takeda Naruto. Let me put the link. I need to put the link to his Instagram in the chat and his YouTube channel. I gotta support the boys. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. Takeda. Yeah. Let me put Takeda and his YouTube. You gotta support the brothers, okay? Support the brothers. YouTube as well. Alright. I just put a link in the chat to the Instagram and YouTube of Takeda. Takeda is a bro. He's a brother. He's a friend. So, show him some love if you want to. Show him some love if you want to. He gets my vote. That's all I'll say. He gets my vote. But without wasting any more time, let's get right into it, okay? Let's get right into it. Because I'm very excited to see this. I'm very genuinely excited to see this. So, let me get rid of this. Shoot, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so, just to make sure that you guys can see it, can you guys see it? Today we're talking ReZero. Today is the live reading for ReZero. Bleach is gonna have to wait till some other time. Just making sure that the sound is okay. I have to check myself just to make sure. Sorry. 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 Okay, you guys can see it. And the sound is okay. Alright, awesome. Alright, so without any further ado, what do you guys say we get started, alright? ReZero, Arc 5, Chapter 25, Leo's Theater. Right? Yeah, Leo's Theater. Are we ready? We're ready. Okay, so... Oh, actually, wait a minute. Discord. I don't know if anybody in Discord is gonna make it, but I'll open the Discord chat for anybody who wants to hop in. I forgot to do that. I mean, it's cool if you can't make it. I'm not gonna be here for too long anyway, but I will go into the Discord place just in case anybody wants to enter. Okay, yeah, there we go. So if anyone wants to enter, they can enter. Alright, so here we go. An enigmatic white-haired youth suddenly entered the barren, chaotic battlefield that had been ripped asunder by ice and fire. In the last chapter, Emilia is going toe-to-toe with Sirius. Doing pretty well, I might add, but we'll talk about that this Thursday. His white hair was neither too long nor too short, without any distinct style. His figure was also neither too muscular nor too slim. He had a medium build, which gave the impression that he was on the verge of floating away and being swallowed up by the masses. Regulus is just straight up slim. Alright, let's just call it what it is. He's thin, but he's dangerous. He's my favorite. Well, Pandora is number 1, but Regulus is a close number 2. Archbishop of Greed. The mediocre young man's self-introduction left quite an impact on Subaru. As long as Subaru's ears hadn't committed a fatal mistake, then that young man was in fact a Sin Archbishop of the witch cult. That statement certainly wasn't a lie. If that wasn't the case, then how else could he have been unscathed from Sirius's final attack? Such an anomaly was impossible. Even so, it's great that I caught up, Regulus says. After all, my bride nearly turned to ash. Even I, who rarely express any particular expectations, do hope that there's someone who can help maintain my bride's humanity. More than that, being a matter of merit, I think that it's a matter of course. After all, I cannot commit a perversion of sexuality like devoting my love to ashes. What? Weird individual. Very weird individual. Anyway, like this, bringing with him a fear that refused to dissipate, weaving such words about Emilia, the young archbishop who called himself Regulus, stood before the quivering Subaru. Although he spoke smoothly and fluently, the contents of his discourse were empty, as if he were just repeating the same joke over and over. Emilia, who was forced to listen to that joke, didn't stir. She seemed to have completely lost consciousness, her slender form only lying prone in his arms. Regulus raised a finger to the white hair on his brows. Although it's gratifying to see nothing wrong, it seems regrettable that I can't reveal my heroism to my bride today. I think that a heroic rescue in the midst of a dead-end crisis brings people's heart to a very important place. Well, after all, the combination of the two is already an established fact, and the only question is of the timing. Isn't it great? Subaru says, "What have you been saying, Regulus, who had been speaking of his self-righteous truth, discovered Subaru and frowned upon him. He then gave a very tired sound and breath. Let me make sure, is chat okay? Everything okay in chat? Okay, everything's okay. Don't you understand basic concepts like politeness? The first thing I did was give a self-introduction. To ask why you're going to introduce yourself. That's because it's the most important thing to start as a relationship. No matter what kind of relationship, isn't it necessary to start with an acquaintanceship where you both know each other? So, just because I'm someone who cares about such things, I often think that no matter whom, I will be friendly as possible. I'm not saying there isn't a chance that the other party is shy. Even if you think you want to become well connected, when you start by introducing yourself, something in you always cannot help but hesitate. What are you talking about, bro? Out of consideration for those types of people, I try to introduce myself as much as possible and act in order to create a space where they feel comfortable. Of course, I don't expect this grace to be immediately obvious. However, I do have hopes that after some time, they will be able to detect the meaning of an introduction. There's a lot of grammatical errors here, but I understand it's a tough job. Or rather, that they will become aware of it. Or is it natural to talk to someone you meet for the first time without introducing yourself? If that's the case, then there's a slight difference between my common sense and culture. In that case, although both parties feel a sense of obligation, it becomes necessary to refuse the other side in advance so as to prevent a misunderstanding. Isn't that so different from what I said before? Taking being gentle. Wow, he's talking a lot. He's talking a lot. He is still speeching. That's a lot. In fact, saying so feels impolite, and that's a lot of etiquette, and the other party is left with a lesser value. A false assessment of each other's value imposes on others. This is a violation of the rights of others. From any rational perspective, this is an infringement of my rights. Oh, sorry, my name is Natsuki Subaru. A frenzied look rose in Regulus's eyes as he prattled on, serving as a warning siren to Subaru. Acting on that fear, Subaru trembled as he gave his name. Then, hearing Subaru's introduction, Regulus squinted his widened eyes. Yes, that's fine, because giving respect invites respect. Although the conditions for achieving a world that creates both is taken for granted, you don't have to seek the happiness of others. As long as you pursue your happiness, others will also correspondingly find happiness. Don't get caught up in your desires. Just accept your truths and feel satisfied with your everyday needs. That is the peaceful way of life. He talks a lot. It would perhaps be worth questioning whether or not his smooth speech was serious, but his bright eyes proved that his words were neither joking nor ironic. Rather, they were his genuine beliefs. Taking his words out of context would perhaps make them seem like seriousness. In fact, Regulus's demeanor and words held the same superficiality and distortion as those of Sirius. After all, is it really so hard to find the proper mood to converse in? Why is that impossible to do this as a matter of course for mankind? Why is it impossible to consciously, unconsciously, indifferently continue to cause subtle harm to others in the days when such things are done? Subtle injuries hurt, don't they? On top of that, if anything serious works its way in, it might grow into a life-threatening disease. The body and the soul are one. I hate those who misunderstand life to the extent that they unconsciously threaten others. Don't their minds seem warped? Bro, he's still speeching. He's still speeching. This dude went into a whole full-on speech. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's still talking. Obviously, they're flawed as human beings. He's pondering the questions of the universe. Like, this dude is going all philosophical right now. And it isn't okay for that behavior to remain unconscious. It is, of course, wrong to impose a burden on those who are discriminated against. Most people have common sense. But why can't they consciously realize that the world is slowly turning on, even without realizing that they're trampling upon the hidden hearts of others? If they don't become conscious of their twisted, flawed mistakes, then don't their feet just keep trampling and trampling? As if unhappy with Subaru's silence, Regulus repeatedly pressed for an answer. Oh, you actually want an answer? Subaru doesn't know the answer. Like, bro, you're asking the questions of the universe. I don't know. Regulus' speech was gradually becoming faster and faster, clearly conveying an increase in excitement. Even so, Subaru could not respond. At the thought of giving a response, his heart flinched. All that said, don't you know? Thanks for the lesson. Burn, scorch, and disappear. A cascade, I'm not really sure. A cascade of fire poured down from behind Regulus. Ceres had waved her arm to summon a flame which mercilessly consumed her fellow Archbishop. Subaru, witnessing this atrocity, found himself once again unable to move. Subaru, I know, but it's okay. Beatrice, also trembling in fear, gripped Subaru's shoulders until they hurt. She too worried about Emilia, who had been caught in the flame. It's alright, Regulus is here. It was impossible for Subaru not to fear the violence that had involved Emilia. Even so, he held a steadfast belief. That was, I say, to interrupt someone else's conversation like that, how awful are you at reading the mood? If you want to say something, speak up, raise your hand. Do you think I have the presence of mind just to wait for you to speak up? Regulus twisted his wrist, and the vortex of flame vanished. The heat wave dissipated as if dismissed by magic, while Regulus, standing at the center of the vortex, remained untouched. Naturally, Emilia, resting in his arms, was still in the same state. Can we just talk about how Regulus is punking Subaru right now? Like, Regulus is... What's the term? I'm trying to remember the term. He's... shoot. It's like the certain term where... when like dogs, like a male dogs will go to the vet and get its testicles removed. I've forgotten the thing for it. There's a certain word for that, and I don't remember. But that's basically what he's doing here. Like, he's punking you, all right? Like, this dude is punking you to your face. He took your woman, he's holding her in his arms, and you can't do anything. Oh, okay. Give me one moment. I need to grab something real quick. I need to grab something real quick. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I'm gonna be right back. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Let me see. 30 seconds. "30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I gotta grab something." I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Let's get the show on the road. I'm back. Okay. Alright, let's get rid of this. And then display capture back on. And we are a go. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me see. Neutered, cucking. Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. So thank you. Castration, like all these syllables. I mean, all these different synonyms are what I'm talking about. Castration, neutering, cucking, all of that. That's what he's doing. He's taken Subaru's girl right in front of him, and Subaru is there, afraid, unable to do anything. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Anyway, so where were we? Where were we? Even engulfed by the flames of that intensity, not a single drop of sweat surfaced on his face. You and I share the title of Archbishop. Since I know that your head is messed up, if you'd only made a little mistake, I could have turned a gentle blind eye. Fortunately, there was no harm done. Only, turning away, Regulus lowered his voice and glared at Sirius, who bore that gaze as she closed her coat, once again hiding the girl bound to her from the surroundings, gritting her teeth all the while. You were planning to burn this girl along with me. I would be a little reluctant to say that I would forgive that kind of behavior. It'd be better to say that it would be impossible. Since ancient times, no matter what the story or the morality of the characters, if one's loved ones are hurt, then their anger is inevitable. Because that is a right that everyone has, I'm well within my rights to take revenge. Fair? Anger? Ha, did you get angry? Don't make me laugh. A superficial and insignificant man like you can't speak so lightly about anger. Anger is mine. It's what I got from him, and it's more important to me than anything else. Honestly, I'm sure, because Sirius, and we'll talk about it in the round table. Sirius is, they're implying heavily that Sirius is Betelgeuse's wife, who must have left her to embark on his, gospel conquest or whatever. And I don't know if she knows that Regulus fought against her husband back then, and quite frankly, because of Regulus's presence, that's why Betelgeuse took the unseen hands and tried to control it. So there's a lot of history here between these two characters. Oh, I see. Are you still clinging to the idiot who kept on risking death? How annoying, how disgusting. That's neither constructive nor rational. Death is the end. It is a matter of course, isn't it? Unwilling to admit that even that, and clinging to just memories, you really are flawed. If someone who you love dies, find the next one. Rather than yelling about love, 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 exercise the rights you've been granted. Disrupting that natural cycle, you really are a hopeless scum. He's not really wrong. As painful as it is, I mean, everyone is entitled to your own opinion at the end of the day, but if you lose a loved one, you kind of have to move on. You have to move on. Life will not wait for you. You have to find a way to move on. So he's twisted, but he's speaking facts at the same time. It's so weird. You, who laughed at that person's death, to speak so arrogantly. Sirius, who had been relentlessly demeaned, flew into a rage. The stone flooring cracked at the mercy of the mad woman's stomp as she directed her twin flames forward, which flew towards Regulus at an alarming rate. The burning tearing sound accompanied the weapon on its lethal journey. The chain hit Regulus's flesh, striking his cheek to one side. However, neither Sirius's fury nor the chain attacks had been calmed by that single blow. Left to right, top to bottom, front to back, Sirius's copper chains beat relentlessly at Regulus's body. On top of that, the chains, flying at an incredibly high speeds, projected waves of heat as well. Disappear, 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 disappear. Turn to ash along with that hateful half-witch. All things in the universe turn to ashes. Ryujin Jaka, for you Bleach fans. The temperature of that storm was high enough to melt the floor tiles where Regulus stood, and the ground beneath him either evaporated or sunk to form depressions. Witnessing the burning results, Sirius's breath grew wild. Sharing her wrath, the crowd of wild-blooded people around her bled from their eyes and noses, making strange sounds as they gathered together. I say, how many times do I need to tell you the same thing? Regulus stepped forward on the red stone slab as if nothing had happened. Whether it was his white hair, his clothes, or Emilia's arms, nothing held a trace of scratches. Only his expression had changed into one of childish dissatisfaction. I've thought about it. No matter how many times the same thing is said, some people can't understand. They don't care enough to give enough effort to understand what is said. Is that contempt? So whether carving what they've learned in their hearts as commandments, or doing careful self-examinations, or remembering it was food for thought for tomorrow, they don't do any of that. They forget and it's cleansed away. Saying the same thing over and over is not only blasphemy, but also contempt, which gives negative impacts to both parties. Both their own value and the value of the other party are fundamentally degraded. That's how it is. It's a form of violence that disregards words and actions. Then I thought of it. You damn insect. The witch's cult doctrine goes like this. If one cheek is hit, present the other cheek and ask your opponents why they fight as they do. This shows a valuable lesson of mutual understanding. But I've thought of this too. It's also true that someone whose cheek has been beaten should fight back. That's especially necessary against those who don't know pain. Only listening to the content of that speech would make it seem very stern, but Regulus was a distorted existence. Regulus, who stepped out from the dark, wore a grim smile. That smile was certainly no friendly gesture. Rather, it was closer to the licking of a tongue as a predator surveyed its prey. It was still unknown how Regulus had defended against Sirius's flame and chain. Perhaps his power was purely defensive. Perhaps the authority of greed granted no means of attack. Therefore, it is clear that the behavior of Regulus should not be conclusive evidence of fatal consequences. But, if the battle dragged on, Sirius would die. Just checking. Is everything okay in the chat? Everything's okay in the chat. Alright, let's keep going. Let me see, is anybody in the Discord? Did I forget anyone? No? Okay, cool. Anyway. Where was I? Oh, right. And there was no guarantee that Regulus was a holder of purely defensive abilities. If that young man pulled anything, there was no doubt that Sirius will die. If that is the case, there is no problem at all. In fact, having the number of archbishops reduced due to infighting would be worthy of celebration. However, although gratifying, Sirius's death would involve most of the people surrounding her. That's right. Of course, this includes Subaru, as well as all the people trapped in Sirius's wrath. and certainly Luzbel and Tina, who prayed for one another's safety and sacrificed themselves. Is Emilia affected right now? I think Emilia was one of those few people who was able to resist it for a while, just like Reinhardt. So, right now, if what's his face? If Regulus kills Sirius, everybody in the vicinity dies, except him and Emilia. This is a bad situation, because I feel like Regulus is about to kill her, like he's about to do so. Even now, fear was spreading all over Subaru's body. You know, that is crazy. Subaru is really, really scared. Like, Subaru, I'm not one to be hard on Subaru when this happens, because it's a tough situation. Like, I'm not going to be one to really, like, I'm not going to beat down on him. But he has been basically useless for a little bit. Like, he fears so much that he really can't do anything right now. Even Beatrice can't knock him out of it. You know, you would think, I mean, this is just my prediction, that you would think that, because it happens a lot in anime, where a character genuinely feels fear, and their fear is crippling. But the moment they're met with either their life is on the line, or Emilia, the life of the person they love is on the line, they spring into action. At least that's what typically happens. So I give Nakatsuki credit for doing something different here. That's fair. But I am surprised, because based on Subaru's track record, and I know you shouldn't take it lightly because he has been through a lot. I am surprised that he's not necessarily more proactive. And this is just me, because I know it's a tough situation. And Sirius is no joke, because it's like Sirius's effects are bypassing, like they bypass your mental, like they bypass your ability to mentally push off being afraid. So like it's not as though you're being presented with a bad situation. She's bypassing your own mental fortitude to go straight to your emotions and messing with that at the source. So I kind of understand why Subaru's having a hard time. I kind of get it. I do. So yeah, like Emilia was getting angry, but she's not getting, like, at least the effect of necessarily, like if right now, I think if Sirius dies, I don't think Emilia dies. That's my prediction anyway. So Beatrice says, Subaru. In his ear, a weak, unreliable voice echoed. Although the owner obviously could not hide her trembling fear, her warm voice still spoke up from behind Subaru. Rely on me. It was a convey message, something like that. Subaru clenched his teeth and staggered to his feet. He refused to be unable to do anything. Haha, look at him, right? Ironic. And delegate everything to the slight weight of the child on his back. Having said that, he wouldn't be able to do anything at all without her strength. Therefore, Subaru refused to struggle alone, but also refused to allow everything to one person. If Subaru had been alone, then he would have remained on his knees. The reason why Subaru could stand was because he wasn't alone. The other people engulfed by the madness were different. Only Subaru had someone close by. Only Subaru wasn't by himself. Tightly clinging to that real feeling, Subaru fought to his feet. Huh? He fought his feet. I don't know. Beatrice, I know in fact. With only a single call, Beatrice could fully understand what he needed. Confirmation with each other was unnecessary, each of them doing their utmost to accomplish each of their respective responsibilities. As long as they did that, they should arrive at their desired outcome. Whether it be Sirius or Regulus, the cultists had completely forgotten about Subaru. Oh, what's about to happen? They could only see each other and intended to kill one another. The best result would be Sirius burning Regulus to ash, but that would be impossible. Therefore, Subaru needed to stop Regulus's rampage. Subaru had to attract Regulus's attention to himself and take measures against creating a large number of victims. And above all, stop touching my Emilia. Finally, The Rock has come back to take his woman. An inexhaustible love pushes the fear from Subaru and lights his heart. Oh, here we go. If he didn't first address his dishonest heart, then he'd never be able to fight Regulus. At the moment, Regulus's back was facing Subaru, and his attention was being completely diverted by Sirius, which was a great convenience for Subaru. So Beatrice says, Shamok. As Subaru forced his trembling legs to move, Beatrice began chanting the spell from behind him. Her powerful spell, Shamok, covered Regulus's body in a black haze as it began to sever him from the world, beautifully hindering his pace. Right before Regulus was engulfed, Subaru took a combat position and fiercely whisked his whip forward. He was aiming at Regulus's neck. His whip followed through as it attempted to ensnare Regulus. Surely, with this much commotion, even the arrogant Regulus would have to attention to Subaru. I get it. Perhaps at that point where Beatrice had draped the curtain, there was even a possibility that Regulus would fall victim without realizing what had happened. There's no response. He's coming. Beatrice's warning had come after a heavy sense of anxiety had already hit Subaru. His whip passed through thin air, and the missing presence of its target was painfully obvious. The next moment, a white-haired youth kicked off the ground towards Subaru, lunging from the black haze. This has been messy from the very beginning. You've been stirring up my smooth life with your magic. Could you evaporate off somewhere? Me no Murak. What? Regulus held Emilia with his right hand as his empty left hand suddenly swiped at Subaru. Beatrice immediately gave up performing an attack in favor of casting a gravity-altering spell on Subaru. Subaru immediately affirmed Beatrice's judgment and leapt upwards to avoid Regulus's reaching fingertips. Murok is a type of shadow magic with the effect of freeing a physical object from the tethers of gravity. Subaru's flesh was now lighter than a feather. Lighter than a feather. Man, words. He flew upward, leaving Regulus behind. Why do you want to avoid it? Why wouldn't I avoid it? It's scary. Subaru cast his whip at Regulus again, who had looked overhead at Subaru. My goodness, the sentence structures are killing me. Rather than aim for any particular direction, Subaru only struck, hitting Regulus's head. His white hair floated outward from the impact, and the head that should have been lacerated by the whip was uninjured. The same held true for his wind-swept hair. What if my bride had been injured? Don't you think that it's a matter of course that girls should be treated gently, and that it's not something that needs to be taught? Don't you even understand this? Don't be stupid. The person I want to treat the most gently in this world is that girl. What's with the bride this, bride that you've been talking about? It's been decided. It's destiny. After all, I made a promise in my dreams. One hand bracing himself against the wall, Subaru was dumbfounded by Regulus' smiling reply. Something felt awry, but Regulus clearly did not care. She will connect with me. That's fate, you know. I feel generally satisfied with myself, and I don't want anything at all. And although I don't particularly desire anything, I'm not so narrow-minded that I would accept what's given to me, especially what fate's given to me. Although most people do not expect this, anything within I can reach, I want to guard. That would be myself and the people who are important to me. Very weird. It's all over the place. I'm trying to get a read on Regulus' character, but he is truly eccentric. Kind of all over the place. It's good though. It's good. I will protect her. I'll welcome her as my bride and love her as she'll love me. And together we will enjoy a stable life. Therefore, for the sake of that, I won't refrain from exerting the power that I've been given. Then what about her own will? Obviously, one of the parties hasn't consented yet, so getting engaged like this is rash. Regulus' stern statement had just confirmed his convictions. On one hand, this was a straightforward, righteous, and harmless way of thinking. On the other, it was ridiculous to a deadly extent. It was difficult to explain why it was deadly, but it was something that was clear from the very beginning. Because Regulus had fallen into a frenzy, everything had gone off track. Okay. Subaru's voice trembled, but not with fear. To his question, Regulus smiled and continued as though discussing a disposable topic. Are you worried about me? If that's the case, thank you. However, there isn't any problem. Fate is inevitable. In particular, in love or friendship, a person's words cannot be established. If fate had told me that she would be my bride, then I am fated to be her groom. This is all something that has already been decided. Something is completely wrong with him, in fact. Toward Regulus and his flawed theory, Beatrice leaks a subconscious murmur of disgust. Subaru held the same opinion. Regulus used pretty smooth words to cover up the underlying madness in his beliefs. Subaru didn't even want to know the extent of trouble that those sentiments would bring. I've had enough. It's impossible for us to understand each other. It's disgusting to admit that such a horrible person is a rival for love. Subaru removed his hand from the wall and allowed himself to float back to earth. Looking at the silent Subaru, Regulus nodded as if he'd grasped the main idea. I see, I understand. You know, I'm sorry to say it, but the fate of a lover can't be shared. I find a bride who admires others to be quite unattractive. What? So he finds a bride who admires others to be unattractive. Okay, so clearly Emilia doesn't... I mean, hey, Emilia technically hasn't said she wants Subaru, technically, so I guess it's okay. Shut it, Emilia's my bride. I won't give her to someone like you. Oh, this is Emilia, a lovely name. You didn't know her name? Very suitable for lovebirds to softly call. Very suitable for this lovable child indeed. You don't even know her name, yet you say you want her as a bride? What a joke. What made you... Her face. Subaru was choked speechless with anger. Misunderstanding his silence, Regulus tilted his head. A cute face. That's all love and whatnot is, right? Go to hell. Oh, look, this. Oh my goodness. You know what? You know what, Subaru, just for you, just for you, I need to grab. You know what? Give me the Kitetsu. Give me the Kitetsu, just for Subaru. Because this is crazy. Alright. This is crazy. So, because this is crazy. Agreeing with Subaru's assertion, Beatrice also denied Regulus's overly casual love. Pedaling towards the ground, Subaru's weightless body was still under the effects of Mudok. As Subaru shortened the distance between them as he rode the wind, Regulus lifted his gaze, as if shocked. At this time, Regulus could not understand the implications of a close combat battle. Subaru himself understood. Rather than being unintelligent, Regulus didn't share the familiarity with the battle that Sirius did. That wasn't to say that he was unprepared, rather he needed no weapon. Therefore, getting close to Regulus would be nigh suicidal. Even so, Subaru had a pressing reason to enter close combat with Regulus, because this was the only way he could use his ace. Subaru's his ace. I keep saying Divergent Fist. That's not a thing, Rebirth. Divine Providence? No, Invisible Providence. That's what it's called. Is that what he's about to use here? Can he use that? His gate was destroyed. Is he able to use this? Interesting. Very interesting. Why did you come here? I don't really understand. Although it's not necessary, I do hope that you can tell me. I don't lack thoughtfulness after all. I want to understand even withering opponents. Thanks for enlightenment. Bayako, ready in fact. Regulus approached Subaru with his left hand extended. Each of those fingers were likely a fatal weapon that would end Subaru's life. Before that could happen, Subaru took a breath and shouted. This was one of the fruits of the efforts that Subaru and Beatrice had accumulated over the course of the past year. EMM. Oh. Okay, that's my bad. That's my bad. That's my bad. Okay. That's my bad. Thank you. The chat just let me know that authorities are not linked to mana. So even though Subaru's mana gate has been destroyed, it doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have the... So authority has its own power system, which is linked to your compatibility with it. It's not necessary. It doesn't have to do with your mana gate. Thank you for that. I forgot. This high-pitched chant induced Subaru's damaged state to absorb Beatrice's mana to cast an exclusive magic of which no one else had yet developed. They had launched the magic of absolute defense, EMM, one of the original spells devised by Beatrice and Subaru. Subaru's body would be wrapped in an invisible magical field which would allow him to sidestep from this plane of existence, nullifying any attack on him, be it physical or magical. What? Regulus's fingertips didn't bring any harm to Subaru when they reached him. Upon witnessing this incident for the first time, Regulus revealed an expression of stiff shock. Subaru aimed at his face and fiercely released his left fist. Yah! The side of Regulus's face was struck. Subaru had struck him with a hard blow, but not the slightest mark had been made when Regulus' head was pushed back. The damage had been completely invalidated. This was what Subaru had indeed expected, an eternal and constant guardian of Regulus' flesh. Not ready yet, I suppose. Before Regulus could counterattack, Beatrice shouted that the conditions for the next move had not yet been reached. In this close proximity, Subaru needed to avoid Regulus' attacks. Being on the defense would make each action incredibly difficult. In that case, Subaru needed to give up a part of his soul. Don't worry. Invisible Providence. As Regulus suffered a blow, his words were cut off. That was because he'd been sent flying. Subaru looked over the scene as he coughed blood, roughly wiping at the corners of his mouth with his sleeve. Only Subaru's eyes could see his invisible providence. Subaru could clearly see a black third hand protruding from his chest, coursing with a dreadful power. His entire body creaked, his soul weakened, and something venomous flowed through his body, materializing as black blood in his throat. Black blood? Dang. After paying the price for the ability, Subaru was able to summon a full-out attack. That blow, which consumed so much from Subaru, probably won't match up to a kick from Garfield. Oh, really? Where is Garfield? Oh, he's with Otto. Even so, that invisible attack should have a corresponding effect to the effort needed to cast it. Subaru, are you okay in fact? Somehow, and as for that guy, he's strong, but his attacks are kinda flat. Among all those I've faced so far, it's about the same as Larking's. Interesting. Wait, what? Really? Spitting out the remainder of the blood clogging his throat, Subaru pointed out the low energy of Regulus's combat. Regulus had revealed that he was an inexperienced layman who was at most on Subaru's level. As long as Subaru kept his concentration of words, those murderous fingertips could maybe be continually avoided. Subaru's shoulder was knocked. That was Beatrice's silent report. Because of its potent effect, the original spells had short durations. In addition, your spells had daily limits, and overuse would result in loss of potency. Although the effects of EMM have ended, in this case, even without magic, Subaru has a chance. So if you rush in, victory could be waiting. I see the light of hope. He's about to get punked. He's clearly about to get punked. There's no such thing. I apologize for the misunderstanding. I dallied for longer than I should have, being that you're not so interesting, but that's not the issue here. It's not good that we're having a disagreement. This is a violation of rights. Since I've been hit twice since we started, if I don't land an attack, that would be unfair, right? Regulus landed from mid-air looking at the determined Subaru. His expression had lost its original calmness and was reaching outrage. What? What are you planning? The ground between Subaru and Regulus suddenly ignited. Subaru was pushed backward by the wave of heat which bathed him, while Regulus bore the hot air as it blew past his face. Obviously, the two turned to the culprit for this. Serious. So far, for whatever reason. The mad woman had not involved herself in the fight between Subaru and Regulus. Although the intent behind her inaction was unknown, Subaru would have preferred for her to have remained silent. Her actions resulted in a very abrupt change. He had no means to combat Sirius's flames and strongly preferred Regulus, who could only engage in close combat. He also had yet to find a solution to defeat her. Subaru gulped as the situation deteriorated. In actuality, his circumstances were far worse than what Subaru had imagined. I found you. ¿Qué? Standing unsightly, Sirius stares at the two men staring at her. No, only Subaru. Oh! It just hit me. It just hit me. He just used the unseen hands of her husband. Yeah, bro. Run. Run. Now she wants you. Now she wants you. The mad woman had completely forgotten her desire to kill Regulus, merely staring with single-minded obsession at Subaru. Her gaze was filled with madness. Subaru's throat suddenly became cold. Then she lifted her previously lifeless, drowsy hands and pressed them to her face. I found you, found you, found you, found you, found you. Aha, ha, ha, aha, yes, it really is you. I'm sorry. I didn't notice at first. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. This is great. It really is. Sure enough, you came back for me. ¿Qué? Darling, where have you been? Oh god. Oh no. No matter where I looked, I couldn't find you even after I've torn your spares open. I still couldn't find you anywhere. Even though always been looking, and you noticed how I'd been searching, and you came back. Her high-pitched, sonorous voice overflowed with an obvious enthusiasm. Don't tell me she's okay. So it's not that she's gonna hate Subaru, but she's going to, I guess, fall in love with him. Like this is the emotion here isn't rage; it's love. All right, cool. Let me put the need eye back. Let me put this back. Keeping her hands on her cheek, she wriggled her body and gave a series. My goodness, there are a lot of mistakes. A series of. By the way, thank you to the people who translate this. Okay, I know I'm talking about how there are mistakes, but believe me, this is better than nothing. So thank you to whoever translates. Thank you. It's not a big deal. I know what you mean. It's not a big deal. What kind of state was this? This odd gesture was truly unspeakable. However, if pressed for an answer, her actions seemed similar to the behavior of someone who'd been searching for a lover for a long time. A woman who'd been consumed by blind love. Because my ideal was reached. Because I want to be one with you. You finally noticed the wish that I've been praying for. Because my love finally reached you. I've always been waiting for only you, my dear, dear Petzogos Romani Conti. Speaking with a mad smile, Series Romani Conti. I like saying that. Petzogos Romani Conti. The name of her beloved, her bereaved lover, as she cast a tender, affectionate look at Subaru. And that is where Chapter 25 ends. Whew. Alright. 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 So what are we thinking? What do we think? What do we think? Oh my goodness. Okay, so Regulus, honestly, Regulus's monologue took up a huge chunk of this chapter, which is fine. You know, it's whatever. That's what Regulus does. You know, that's what he does. But Subaru, character development of Subaru. Subaru has a new technique, a combination with Beatrice. So I have a question. So my first question here is that if authorities don't have anything to do with mana, but the EMM, that has to do with mana, doesn't it? That's a coordinated attack between him and Beatrice. So that's a spirit art technique, for example, right? Because Beatrice cannot help him cast Invisible Providence. So the EMM is a magic attack. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. And the what was it called? What was it called? The Majok? Shoot, what was it called? Murok. The Murok is also I think we saw that a little bit in the anime, I think, and it's made another appearance here. Really good stuff, honestly. Really good stuff. Let me look at the chat for a little bit, and might have to, again, this is not like a full-on thing. I just came to read and then I have to switch gears. Let's look at the chat. Let's see what the chat is saying. But also, it is crazy though. It's very crazy that Sirius Sirius now thinks that Subaru is Petalgoose. And for that matter, is Sirius, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is Sirius? Is she attractive? Is she attractive? I wonder. I'm gonna wait for that. On a scale of 1 to 10, Sirius, what do we rate her? 1 to 10, what do we rate her? A 3. With the bandages, a 6. Okay. Depends on what you define as attractive. I'm talking about her appearance, her physical appearance. That's what I'm talking about in this case. Sirius's face is hidden. What about her physique? Because I right now I'm like, let me see. Do I have a picture? Can I get a picture of? Let me get a picture of Sirius. Let me judge for myself. I shall decide for myself. Let me see. Never mind. We're moving on. We're done. It's cool. Forget I asked. No comment. She's bandaged up fully. She's fully bandaged up. Anyway, so oh shoot, was someone? Oh, Ethan came in clutch. I see. All right, she's alright. She's okay. So caught in 4K. So guys, any questions before I head out? Again, like we'll be back on Thursday with a full breakdown, chapter 20 through 28. So it's going to be a very big stream. We're going to talk about everything. So I'm not going to talk too much about everything because I want to save stuff for the round table. But any questions I can answer, I will answer before I get out of here. Anything? Any questions I can answer, I will answer. I'm not into that. If you're into that, that's cool. I personally, like Alvaro, I'm not into that personally. So pass. Rem is good enough. Right? Rem is good. You know, Priscilla's not bad. To be quite honest, Priscilla's not bad. I'm beginning to warm up to Priscilla. Not on a character level, just purely on appearance, really. So okay. So it sounds like a lot of you are even willing to save a lot of your stuff for the trail for Thursday for the round table, which is good, which is good. So anyway, I think that I'm going to leave you guys there with that. This was the first time doing this. Let me see. Let me see what is the next. What's the next? Well, on Thursday, I'll let you guys know what the next chapter live reading is gonna be. Again, I can't do this. I can't do every chapter because my voice, it takes a toll on my voice. So, on Thursday, before the stream ends, I'll let you guys know what the next chapter reading is gonna be. When if routes, am I going to? I'll probably get to that eventually. Like, hopefully at some point, I would like to do everything. So eventually, I will get to that. Eventually. How do I feel about Regulus? Regulus is cool. Like, Regulus is legit. Regulus is legit. Regulus is honestly legit, and his powers really intrigue me. I'm interested to know where this goes because it would seem, because I think when Super punched him, it didn't have an effect, did it? I mean, he fell back and all, but did it affect him? Was he damaged by it? What do you guys think? Was he actually damaged by it? Because if he was damaged by it, that would be the first time we've seen him get damaged. But I don't think he was damaged by it. Like, he got pushed back, surely, but I don't think he was damaged. Yeah, okay, yeah, he wasn't damaged, okay. Because that's consistent. Like, so far, even when Pandora punked Regulus, all she did was, sure, she put him into the ground. He was unaffected. He was just mad, you know? And then she transported him somewhere back into his mansion or whatever. So far in the entire story of ReZero, Regulus is untouched. Like, Regulus is 100% from the field. Federico, which one are you talking about? Federico, what are you talking about? Neck twisting. Am I forgetting something? Which one is that? Excuse me. Let me wait for Federico to comment. I don't remember. I'm not remembering which the neck twisting scene we're talking about. Was his neck twisted? Because I know that I know that they were at a stalemate. Like, whatever, like it's like Petzl was able to counter, basically render his authority, whatever it is, ineffective. But whatever Petzl did to Regulus didn't work either. Okay. I must have forgotten. It's been a minute. Okay. So Regulus is clean. Regulus is 100% from the field so far. Clean. Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. Man, like, this dude is clean. And I wonder what he's doing in Priscilla City. Did he know that Emilia was going to be here? That's one of the questions I have. Did he know that she was going to be here, or is it just coincidental? And if it's coincidental, why did he show up? Like, what happened? Very interesting to know. So, anyway. I'm going to leave you guys there. I got to switch gears. I'm trying to do a bunch of reactions today to get you guys some Patreon content. And also on YouTube. So I'll go back and I gotta watch Steins Gate tonight, and I also have to watch. Well, personally, I'm gonna watch the Demon Slayer movie. I'll post it for whoever wants it, but it's mainly to post on YouTube. So I'll leave you guys there with that. All right. All right. So this is gonna be your boy Rebirth, signing off. Peace out. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye.